It's a top 25 showdown in Columbus as the 17th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers square off against the 22nd ranked Ohio State Buckeyes. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome inside St. John Arena. I'm Andrew Luftglass alongside former Buckeye gymnast Paris McGee. This is a meeting of two of the nation's best, but as successful as the Buckeyes and Huskers have been, they haven't seen each other in a regular season meet since back in 2013 when Nebraska edged the Buckeyes 196.15 to 195.975 right here in Columbus. That gave the Huskers a 9-6 edge in the all-time series. And as we turn our attention to today, Paris, both teams are coming off of conference losses. OSU at Maryland on Friday, Nebraska against Minnesota on Saturday. It's going to be vital for them to both get off to strong starts this afternoon.
Yes, definitely. Both teams, as you said, are coming off of losses. So it's going to be very important for both teams to start strong. That way they can build off of their performances and hopefully finish strong as well.
For Ohio State, that loss on Friday ended a 5-meet win streak. They're now at 4-2 overall, 3-1 in Big Ten play. And for the Huskers, they've now lost 2 meets in a row, losing to Minnesota on Saturday. They're 3-3 overall, and an even 2-2 in Big Ten action. Paris, we've been talking a little bit off-air on the similarities of these two programs, both among the best in the country, both with relatively young rosters, and, well, both with coaches early on in their tenure. Heather Brink was just named the head coach of this Nebraska program officially as the permanent head coach earlier this month, and for Meredith Polisiewicz, her second year at the helm of Ohio State. But for all of those similarities, some considerable differences in philosophy as well.
Yes, Meredith is definitely focusing on technique over difficulty and big skills. She did lose a lot of heavy hitters. Last year she had Alexis Matter, who was a phenomenal all-arounder gymnast. She also had Caitlin Hofflin, who's a balance beam specialist and uneven bar specialist. And then she has Steph Merkel. Those three young girls were definitely big hitters, and now that they have graduated off on the team, she's now with a young team. And so she's definitely focusing on the technique, trying to build those younger gymnasts so that way they will definitely be the future of their program.
Ohio State is going to start this afternoon on the vault as the home team. Nebraska on the uneven bars. As we take a look at the uneven bar setup where the Huskers get their warm-up, they'll start with Sarah Hargrove, finishing with Kelly Chung. For Ohio State on the vault, they'll start with Janelle McClelland and finish up with Jamie Stone. As we get ready for this first event of the day, let's take a look at that vault and the bars lineup for Ohio State and Nebraska. First with Ohio State, what do you think that the Buckeyes need in order to get a strong start on the vault this afternoon?
The landings. The Buckeyes, they are doing vaults that have only 9.95 in difficulty compared to the Cornhuskers, who will throw 6-10-0 vaults. So the Cornhuskers will have an edge on the vault. And so with that being said, the Buckeyes will definitely need to make sure that they can execute their vaults to the greatest of their abilities. And if they do so, they will definitely be in good contention.
Well, you see that Ohio State lineup right there. You might want to circle number 2 there, Danica Abanto. We'll talk about her throughout our broadcast today, speaking with head coach Meredith Polisiewicz earlier this week. She was very high on the young sophomore who missed all of last year due to a knee injury and is now competing as an all-arounder for the second week in a row, second time in her collegiate career.
I've actually had the pleasure of watching Danica as a junior gymnast, and she's absolutely phenomenal. Like Meredith said, she has more talent in her pinky finger than anyone she knows. So Danica is definitely going to be a gymnast that I think everyone should watch in the future, and definitely in this competition today.
And as for Nebraska on the bars, this is one of their best apparatuses in their lineup, really. They're the 13th ranked team on bars this year, and even though this is probably their best event, talking to Heather Brink earlier this week, she was talking about how it's maybe also the event where they have the least amount of depth.
Yeah, Nebraska, again, they have a young team as well, and unfortunately they will also be having only one gymnast in the all-around today. So they're going to do as much as they can to execute the routines that they have to hopefully stay in contention in this meet. But again, Nebraska has a very young team as well. So both teams are young, but I believe that if both teams can, just do their job, do as they do in the gymnastics gym, they'll be fine in this competition.
The only all-arounder, by the way, for Nebraska will be Sienna Kraus. We're used to seeing Kraus and Taylor Houchin both as all-arounders for the Cornhuskers, but today Houchin is being left off of the floor exercise. So it'll just be Kraus as an all-arounder for the Huskers, and for Ohio State, we mentioned Danica Abanto, and their two other regular all-arounders, Olivia Apley and Jamie Stone. They have kind of been not only the captains and leaders of this team, but also they've been kind of carrying the workload throughout the course of this early portion of the 2019 season.
Yes, definitely.
Getting ready for Ohio State to begin our competition today. Wonderful atmosphere inside St. John Arena. We're so glad that you can join us for our coverage on BTN To Go. Ohio State, the number 22 ranked team in the country against number 17 Nebraska. As we get a look at Heather Brink in her first year as the head coach of the Cornhuskers. We told you that she was just named the head coach, the permanent head coach of the Huskers earlier this month on February the 1st, but she is certainly not new to Husker Nation. She was a Cornhusker herself, and this is her 8th year in the coaching staff for Nebraska. Heather named the interim head coach after Dan Kendig retired this past October, ending 20 years at the helm of Nebraska.
That's absolutely amazing. She just has so much history herself within the Cornhusker program.
And Meredith Paulasiewicz, another coach early on in her tenure, of course, with Ohio State. When we talked to her, as we said earlier this week, she was discussing how she wants to build this program, putting a focus on the youngsters who will lead the program in the future.
And again, she's definitely going to do that. Last year was her first year as a head coach, and she already has 2 big titles under her.
Now Janelle McClelland will lead things off for the Buckeyes on vault. Season high, she's reached twice of 9.775, the senior out of Bidwell, Ohio.
She'll be performing a Yurchenko half twist. And that was the start that the Buckeyes needed. That was a very good vault. Again, it was a Yurchenko half twist worth a 9.9. I couldn't tell from this angle if she stuck the landing, but it surely looked as if she could have definitely stuck that landing. Beautiful block off the table.
Small step for perhaps. As Sarah Hargrove, the freshman from Hendersonville, North Carolina, gets going on the uneven bars. Beautiful
Pack salto down to the low bar. She has beautiful flexibility, which you can see as she does a lot of her straddle staldo work. Again, to immediate double tuck dismount. Small hop on the landing. Again, but nevertheless, a great start for the Cornhuskers.
The 5-time junior Olympic qualifier, Sarah Hargrove. So a good start both for Ohio State and Nebraska. This will bring up Danica Abanto, the aforementioned sophomore. Missed all of last year for Ohio State with a knee injury. Meredith Paulasiewicz talking about her bright future as an all-arounder. She's getting another opportunity this week. Second week in a row competing in every competition, as she did last week at Maryland.
Danica will be performing a Yurchenko full twist. She'll be adding she'll be adding a half twist more than Janelle. Strong run. Oh, excuse me, a Yurchenko half. So again, that was the same exact vault that we just saw from Janelle. She did take quite the step on the landing, but again, it's her first year back since her injury. So the fact that she's competing vault, coming back from a knee injury, it's amazing. So,
by the way, an update on the scores. Janelle McClelland has been given a 9.8 for her opening vault. Megan Vercelis-Carr, the sophomore for Nebraska, on bars. You talked about Danica's vault as well, Paris. One thing we spoke with Meredith about earlier this week was how she's got the ability to do at least twice as much as she's doing this year.
Yes, she does, and it's amazing. She has so much talent. There's so much talent. And here we see gymnast from Nebraska. Pirouette to immediate double back. Small hop on the landing. But again, a good start. Both teams aren't necessarily getting those sticks that I know they both want. But again, they are hitting routines. There are no major errors, no major falls. So both teams are off to a great start.
And that's what you want in the beginning of your lineup. Janelle McClelland for Ohio State, a 9.8 on vault. Sarah Hargrove for Nebraska with a 9.75. Danica Abanto given a 9.725 on her vault routine. Here is Morgan Lowe for the Buckeyes.
And that was a great vault. Yurchenko full twist, small hop on the landing, getting cheers from her teammates.
Yeah, her teammates loved that vault.
Yes, that was a good vault. Very clean in the air. Again, we didn't see it from the greatest view, the greatest angle, but she had a good block off the table.
Now quickly on to Addie DeJesus for Nebraska. Adniris DeJesus, freshman out of Greenwich, Connecticut. Your stomping grounds.
Yes. Actually, wow. And that was an Arabian dismount. That is rarely seen in college gymnastics. It's such a hard dismount because she lands blindly, which means that she's not able to see the floor when she lands. But that was a great dismount, great routine.
Here is Olivia Apley getting ready for the Buckeyes. She's won the vault title in 3 straight meets and 4 out of 6 event titles on vault this year. The Buckeye junior from Dublin, Ohio.
You know, Olivia has definitely became that gymnast that Ohio State needed when they needed big scores. She's very consistent all across the board, which is the reason why she's competing the all-around tonight. She'll be performing a Yurchenko full, the same vault that we just saw from Morgan. And hopefully she can move those feet to the mat, stick that landing. And a good vault. Small hop on the landing, but a good vault.
She's been, Meredith said, the most consistent high vaulters this season for Ohio State. They go back to bars. Sienna Kraus for Nebraska. Scores on bars for Nebraska across the board, 9.750s. For Hargrove, Vercelis Carr, and DeJesus.
Weiler Kip, again, that is, and a small error there. Unfortunately, she was a little loose in the handstand position and went over. But beautiful, a beautiful ganger. She's definitely making up for that small mistake.
She's the lone all-arounder for Nebraska this afternoon.
Preparing for that dismount. And a stuck landing. That was a phenomenal dismount. Definitely lifted above the bars. But again, she had that unfortunate mistake. So hopefully this can be a routine that the Cornhuskers will be able to throw out and hopefully won't use towards the team's total score.
You can use 5 of the 6 scores.
And a beautiful vault from the 2018 vault champion, Jamie Stone. That was a Yurchenko half. You know, Jamie sticks that vault all the time. She's just phenomenal. She's a pro at it. It is a blind landing, so unfortunately she's not able to see the ground when she lands. But again, she is just phenomenal. And that was a great vault. Small hop on the landing.
Reigning Big Ten champ, as you mentioned. She leads the team with 8 event titles, 3 of them on vault. So that is one of her top events. Here is Taylor Houchin on bars for Nebraska. A little score update for Ohio State on the vault. 9.8 for Janelle McClelland. Danica Vanto 9.725. Morgan Lowe 9.775. And ditto 9.775 for Olivia Apley. On the bars through 4 so far for Nebraska.
And Taylor has beautiful lines on this event. She has beautiful lines on every event, but the uneven bars is really where you're able to see where she really puts an emphasis on the lines that she has. Again, attacking that handstand position. Nice and flat, beautiful full pirouette.
She spent about 2 years upgrading her dismount that she'll use today on bars.
And currently ranked 12 in the nation on this event. So again, a beautiful handstand position. That is exactly what the judges are looking for. She's flat in the air, a huge double L dismount, step on the landing. That was a great routine.
Heather Brink talking about how Taylor Houchin's been chasing a 10 on bars. Maybe that little hop took a 10 away from her, but the consummate professional and always perfectionist, as Heather was talking about, did a terrific job on bars in her first go-around today.
Here we have Peyton on the vault.
Peyton Hinterberger.
Oh, and it looks as if I think she might have put her hands down. She was having a little struggle in the warm-ups with that vault. Looks like she's getting a little too high on the table. and unfortunately, she's not able to get the rotation that she needs to land back on her feet. But the Buckeyes did get a good 5 scores on the vault, so they can definitely throw away that score.
For Nebraska, by the way, on bars, a 9.45 for Sienna Kraus. No score yet from Taylor Houchin as we get a look at Kelly Chung, the junior from Torrance, California.
A little leg separation on that pack salto. But again, Kelly has beautiful lines on this event. Exceptional toe point, open shoulders in the handstand position, and a huge double out stick dismount off the uneven bars. That is the landing that this team needs in order to stay in contention.
Heather Brink talking about how Kelly's done a great job helping them clean up their bar lineup, and that was a nice job to anchor.
Yes, it was. That was a phenomenal routine. No major errors, beautiful dismount. And that, again, stuck landings is what these girls are looking to have. That is the very last thing that the judges see. So you really want to put an emphasis on those landings.
Peyton Hinterberger, by the way, a 9.225 for her vault. Taylor Houchin on her bar routine, 9.875. Wrapping up our first rotation and getting ready for our second. Next up, it will be Ohio State on the bars and Nebraska on the vault. That's coming up when we come back. Our coverage of Ohio State and Nebraska women's gymnastics from Columbus, Ohio. Caitlin Orrell on the exhibition on bars for Nebraska. Ohio State with an early lead through the first rotation over Nebraska, 48.925, and the Huskers 48.6. So both teams just a little shy of the 49 mark that they like to hit. But overall, Paris, your impressions from the first rotation?
You know, I think it was a great rotation for both teams. You know, it wasn't the best start, maybe, but it was definitely a start that both teams needed in order to build off of their performances. Again, there were strong points like that stuck dismount that we did see from the Cornhuskers on the uneven bar. It was a beautiful double A. And then, you know, some pretty good vaults. You know, Jamie Stone did a great vault. Olivia did a fantastic vault as well. So, again, this is definitely a start that both teams need. I know they are both fired up. Again, they are coming off of losses, so I know that it will be very important for both teams to really just have the performance that they all know that they can have.
And that was nice for Caitlin Orrell to get back to the uneven bars. She had torn her Achilles 2 years ago and returned from a knee injury last week, so nice to see her, even in an exhibition, get an opportunity to get some practice in front of a crowd on bars. How difficult is that, Paris? Coming back from an injury to be able to not just compete, but
it's very difficult. Yeah. My junior year, I tore my ACL, and I came back my senior year. Unfortunately, I didn't have the senior year that I hoped to have. You know, so it is hard to come back from an injury. So to know that she's out here and she's actually competing, that's major. That's pretty major.
And even on an exhibition format, I mean, you probably discount when you're not in the regular lineup, but it's still tough in front of a crowd coming back from an injury.
You know, when you're in an exhibition, it's just as if you're actually competing. So the nerves are there. You know, it's like a real actual competition. So though your score might not count, it definitely puts you in that competition field because you can definitely be in the line of the next competition if you do well. So the exhibition spot is very important to all the competitors.
They've updated the scores, by the way. Ohio State 48.925 on the vault, and Nebraska 48.825. So the slightest of edges.
The very slightest of edges. And again, this can definitely change because Nebraska, they are doing 6.10.0 vaults. So again, Nebraska does have the edge over Ohio State when it comes to the vault. And so Ohio State is definitely going to have to pull out some great uneven bars routines if they want to stay in the league in this competition.
Yeah, that was one of the focuses for Heather Brink at Nebraska coming into this week. They want to put together 6-10-0 start values, and you know, it's tough. What does it take, Paris, to keep your composure and hit when you're increasing your difficulty like that?
You know, again, when you're in the gym, you train. So these girls know that they can do it. You know, I know that their coaches wouldn't put them out on the floor if they were not able to handle the pressure or even be able to execute the skills. So, you know, you just have to have that confidence. You have to have that confidence, and you have to know that what you do in the gym can most definitely transfer in the competition.
Last week was the first time that Nebraska has competed with 6-10-0 start values. Fell short of 9-8s for the first 3 gymnasts and did not put together a 9-9 plus during last week's competition. I'll start off with Megan Vercelis-Carr, the sophomore. And for the Buckeyes on the bars, Peyton Hinterberger will lead off. There's a look at Peyton, and there's VC.
And I have to say, watching Nebraska in the warm-ups, they were phenomenal. I saw a number of stuck vault landings. So if they can just do that in the competition here, it would be very, very big for them.
So here's Megan Vercelis-Carr, the sophomore. Season high 9.75. Last year she put up a 9.825. She is coming off of a fairly disappointing vault last week against Minnesota, 9.075. So we'll see how she's able to rebound today.
Both teams just getting under their warm-ups on both events.
Talk a little bit about Heather Brink's philosophy on vault as we get ready for our second rotation of the day. And one of the things that we talked about at the Open was the differing philosophies between Heather Brink, head coach for Nebraska, and Meredith Polisiewicz, the head coach for Ohio State. And when you look at the Cornhuskers talking about going for that 10-0 start value, that's a considerably different philosophy to what Meredith Polisiewicz is talking about, where she wants to rein in the difficulty in favor of trying for more clean gymnastics. It seems like Heather is trying to push the boundary a little bit more of what her gymnasts can do.
You know, yeah, definitely. And, you know, I can say that Nebraska, they do have a lot of girls that had big accomplishments as junior gymnasts. I was speaking with Meredith, and you know, she did mention that some of her girls never even been to nationals before as a junior gymnast. So the fact that they're even on the team here at Ohio State, it's big, it's major. And again, I think that just shows the differences between the two teams. Heather's team, I will say, is maybe a little bit more experienced, which is why she's able to just throw in 6-10-0 vaults compared to Meredith's young team, who is really trying to focus on the technique that they have and the routines that they have and execute that to the greatest of their abilities and hopefully come out on top.
And don't let that statement about more experience fool you. You see all the sophomores and freshmen in their lineup, but what you were talking about before is that experience before college where they were junior Olympic nationals.
Yes. Again, a lot of these girls have been to the national championship competitions, and those competitions, they're big. There's a lot of girls. It's a lot more competitive than maybe a local, state, or regional competition. And those are the type of girls that Nebraska has on their team that aren't necessarily present so much on Ohio State's team.
And as for Ohio State, as we take a look at their bar lineup, this is arguably their best competition. They're 14th in the nation coming into today on the bars, but they are missing a key cog in this lineup. Colby Miller, the freshman, one of the best freshmen on bars in the Big Ten. She's resting her elbow. She's out again. Now, the good news is she's been swinging bars this week, Meredith said, but again, not in the lineup this week.
Yeah, so I don't think it will hurt Ohio State too much. Again, they have amazing bar workers. As you can see Jenna on the bars right now. She's absolutely phenomenal. She's my favorite bar worker of the Buckeye. But again, I think that with the lineup that they have on bars, they can definitely have a great bar rotation.
Including the reigning Big Ten champion on this apparatus. Olivia Apley was the Big Ten champ in the uneven bars last year. She will compete fourth for Ohio State. Pleasure again to have you with us inside St. John Arena in Columbus, Ohio, less than a minute away from the start of our second rotation through the first rotation. Ohio State with a narrow lead, 48.925 their score on the vault. And the Cornhuskers 48.825 on the uneven bars. Ohio State going to lead off with Peyton Hinterberger, the junior, on the bars. She's competed almost exclusively on bars this year, a little bit on floor as well. And on the vault for Nebraska VC, Megan Verselis-Carr. As we mentioned before, coming off of a tough vault last week against Minnesota and trying to rebound, get this lineup off to a good start. All through the practice round. As you mentioned, Paris, both these teams coming off of conference losses, and for Nebraska trying to end a brief two-meet losing streak. It'll be very important, especially for them, to get a strong start from VC on the vault.
Definitely. And again, Nebraska, they are performing 6'10" vaults, so this would be big for them. They didn't necessarily have the results that I know they won it last weekend, but looking at the warm-ups of these girls, I think that they're going to have the vaults that they are looking to have today in this competition.
So here's Megan Verselis-Carr leading off on the vault for Nebraska. Cornhuskers have the 23rd best vault rotation in the country, according to roadtonationals.com.
Strong run. Yurchenko full and a half. And a stuck dismount. That was a phenomenal start. That was huge for the Cornhuskers. It was a beautiful vault. Again, that is a blind landing. So as she's landing, she's not able to see the ground, but that was phenomenal. She knew where she was in the air. She planted those feet on the mat, and she stuck that landing. That was amazing. Now back over to Ohio State on the uneven bars. Peyton, she's very, very consistent on this event. Beautiful shadow Jaeger. Beautiful handstand. You know, speaking with Meredith, she said that she is really emphasizing the technique of these girls, focusing on the small things, paying attention to detail. Again, that was a phenomenal handstand. Pirouette immediate to double tuck dismount. A little shake on that dismount, but again, that was a phenomenal routine. The only small error was a full pirouette going into that, as you can see, double tuck dismount. But again, that's a great start for the Buckeyes. And again, they have bar routines that you should definitely watch out for later in this competition.
Perhaps their best competition out of all four. Here's Anika Dujakovic.
Ooh, and unfortunately, she didn't get the rotation that she needed to land on her feet. Looks to be a little high on the table, and unfortunately couldn't get the block that she needed to get the rotation. Hopefully that doesn't shake the confidence of the Cornhuskers, as again, they are performing 6'10" vault, so this will be big for them. And I know that they want to perform better than what they did last weekend.
It was a 9.85, by the way, for Megan Verselis-Carr on her first vault. For Ohio State, Danica Abanto.
And she just works through this bar routine with so much confidence. Again, Ohio State, they are attacking their handstands. Great belly handstand. Working her way back up to the high bar. Again, beautiful open shoulders for a pirouette to immediate double tuck dismount. And a stuck landing. That is the type of dismount that the Ohio State, the Lady Bucks, that they want. That was a beautiful dismount. A little sloppiness with the legs on that pirouette, but that dismount was phenomenal. And she just bloats and gloats on that dismount.
And keep in mind, by the way, just the second time this year and in her career that she's competed on the uneven bars. This is Adi DeJesus on the vault for Nebraska.
And that was a really good vault. Nice, tight in the air. She did take a little slide on the landing of the vault, but again, that was a beautiful vault. And definitely the vault that they needed after that unfortunate fall.
That fall by Anika Dujakovic giving her a 9.225 after a strong start from Megan Verselis-Carr at a 9.85. So a strong start, a little slip up. And Adi DeJesus trying to build up the scores again for Nebraska. All we have back for the Ohio State scores on vault, or on even bars, excuse me, is Peyton Hinterberger, 9.625 her score. Still waiting the score from Danica Abanto as Jamie Stone, one of the all-arounders for the Buckeyes, gets ready.
And what's so amazing about Jamie is that this is her first year in college competing on the uneven bars. And again, she hasn't competed this since she was in high school, so that's huge. Starting off with gorgeous handstand positions. That was a beautiful release down to the low bar. This is a gorgeous routine. Again, open shoulders on that handstand. Beautiful full pirouette on top of the bars to another stuck dismount. The Buckeyes, they are staying in this competition. They want the lead. They want the win over the Cornhuskers. Beautiful open shoulders. A little pass handstand on that, but that was gorgeous. Now back on the vault. Yurchenko 1.5 to a stuck dismount. This is huge. Both teams are putting on some huge, huge performances. That was a phenomenal vault. Beautiful in the air. Nice, tight, clean, and then she sticks the landing.
Sienna Kraus with a big vault. And now we've had back-to-back terrific vaults from Addie DeJesus and Sienna Kraus, and hopefully for the Cornhuskers, that helps them shake off that second score from Anika Dujakovic.
You know, I think that we just might see a 9.9 with that vault. That was a beautiful vault and a beautiful stuck landing.
Addie DeJesus, by the way, with a 9.8. On bars for the Buckeyes, the reigning Big Ten uneven bar champion, Olivia Apley.
And again, she's the reigning Big Ten champion for a reason. For that reason, she's very, very clean, hitting all of her handstand position. Oh, and an unfortunate fall.
Not something you're used to seeing from the junior.
No, not at all. She's very consistent on this event. You know, she just couldn't wrap her fingers fully over the bar, and unfortunately, she takes the fall.
That's got to be difficult on that blind switch from the low to the high bar.
Exactly. You know, you just didn't throw hard enough. But again, she is competing the all-around, so I know that she's going to stay focused and stay in this competition. So when she goes to the balance move and the full exercise, she'll do the routines that this team needs and the routines that she knows that she can do.
The door may be cracked open a little bit for Nebraska now. Sienna Kraus on her vault routine, picking up very close to a 9.9, as you said, Paris, 9.875.
Very, very close. I think they just might be holding that 9.9 for the next vault that the Cornhuskers can stick back on the uneven bars. She repeats that skill. Unfortunately, the fall still counts, so she wouldn't get any extra points for it. But again, she is moving through this routine with confidence now. Beautiful dismount to a stuck landing. I know she didn't have the routine that she wanted, but again, that was a great finish.
That'll likely be the score that the Buckeyes drop.
Definitely.
Taylor Houchin just finishing up on her vault. Let's take a look at the juniors' performance. She was a 2018 first team All-American on vault. Reigning Big Ten vault co-champion.
And again, I actually saw that vault, so it was a beautiful vault. She was very nice and tight in the air. Small hop on the landing. But again, the Cornhuskers did perform some amazing vaults, you know, disregarding that fall that they have. And so now that both teams have one score that they are definitely going to want to throw out, they definitely do need to put down some routines to hopefully keep them in the leading contention in this competition.
Now Jenna Swartzen-Truber for Ohio State. 2 event titles this year. They're both on the bars.
And this is probably my favorite uneven bar worker for the Buckeyes. She is a taller gymnast. She is about 5'7", 5'8", so gymnastics is a little harder for her in terms of actually doing the skills and learning to do them because she is taller. But when she does them, she makes them so much more beautiful than everyone else. And a beautiful release move to the high bar. Back down. Now that was gorgeous. That pack salto. She lifts off the bar. Again, back up with the Shapash half. This is an amazing routine. Hitting that handstand. Here she is going up for a huge dismount. A double out. Let's see if she can stick. And a stuck landing. That was a phenomenal uneven bar routine. that is the routine that you need coming after a fall. That was phenomenal. Huge double layout, stuck landing, plants those feet, and salutes to the audience.
After a 9.375 by Olivia Apley, that's got to be close to a 9.9 for Jenna Schwartzentruber.
You know, again, that was a phenomenal uneven bar routine. And here we are seeing a beautiful Yurchenko full from the Cornhuskers.
Freshman Kaylee Quinn, the anchor for Nebraska.
Again, Nebraska, they did say that they were going to throw all 10-0 vaults. So I'm assuming that they were hopefully looking to use the first 5 vaults that were 10-0. That last vault that we just seen, it is worth a 9.95, so it isn't worth that 10-0 star value. But again, it was a great vault. And
they have gotten a 9.9, by the way. Taylor Houchin given a 9.9 score for her vault. She was in the 5th slot in that lineup. Sierra Hassel is getting ready to compete in the exhibition for Nebraska, as we still wait on the Ohio State scores on the uneven bars. It was a bit of a tough lineup for Ohio State on the bars, and I think Nebraska's probably gained a little bit of ground after the Buckeyes had the lead following the first rotation.
Yeah, I agree. I think they just might have. But I will say that Claire on the uneven bars, who will be anchoring for the Buckeyes, she's phenomenal on this event. She has a skill that is so unique. I think she's the only gymnast in the country performing this skill. So it is definitely going to be a skill that I think everyone watching would know exactly what I'm talking about, because it's just so unique and so different than every other gymnast that we see in this competition.
That's her release move, the Ajova. Talking with Meredith earlier this week, she said if she hits this, it can be really impressive.
I mean, I'm just getting nervous watching. I absolutely love this skill right there. It is absolutely difficult, and I will say that is an elite skill. That is a skill that you will see a lot of world champions and Olympic gymnasts performing. Here she is getting off a huge double out dismount. And a stuck landing from the freshman, Claire, competing like a veteran. That is the type of gymnast that Meredith is training to lead this team in the future.
There's Sierra Hassel on the exhibition, but going back to Claire Gagliardi, last week, the first time that she had competed on the uneven bars in her collegiate career, and being able to pull off that move and stick the landing for a great score, presumably for Ohio State to anchor.
Yes, again, she's competing as if she's a veteran. She's competing as if she is an upperclassman. That was definitely a routine that the Buckeyes needed, and she scores a 9.9 with that routine. That was phenomenal. That was phenomenal. She had the big difficulty, the big scales, and then she topped it off with a huge, big dismount with a stuck landing.
So Ohio State and Nebraska through 2 rotations in St. John Arena in Columbus. When we come back, it will be the Huskers on the floor and the Buckeyes on the balance beam. A tight one in Columbus between 2 top 25 programs. The number 22 Ohio State Buckeyes barely edging the 17th ranked Nebraska Cornhuskers. Welcome inside St. John Arena, everybody. Andrew Luftglass alongside Paris McGee. And as we turn to our 3rd rotation, Nebraska on floor, Ohio State on beam. Paris, we've been talking about the beam apparatus throughout this afternoon and about how, well, it's likely going to be this event that decides it for either team, especially considering that both of these coaches, Heather Brink for Nebraska and Meredith Paulasivic for Ohio State, they're the beam specialists for both of these teams.
Yes, definitely. Beam is the make it or break it for women's gymnastics. So both teams are really going to need to hit hard on this event, keep their focus, and make sure that they are squared on the beam.
Take a look at Ohio State's beam rotation. Talking with Meredith Paulasivic earlier this year, she was discussing, or earlier this week, she was talking about that grab the ball mentality that her team has employed this year. They don't want to pass the ball, they want to take it, meaning she wants her gymnasts to want to compete in these big moments, and especially on beam. That is a very difficult apparatus when it comes to mental fortitude.
And again, these girls are competing like they want to compete. They are out here, they are attacking their routines, and they are competing like veterans. They are young, but they are competing like veterans and experienced gymnasts.
Only one senior and one junior in the beam lineup for Ohio State, but Meredith talking about how they have beautiful skills and beautiful lines. They're just trying to be technically sound and get their emotions under control. This is Morgan Lowe, the sophomore.
And she's probably honestly one of my favorite gymnasts to watch for the Buckeyes on this event because her lines, they're just so exceptional. From her toe point to the flicks of her fingers. I mean, she's just that gymnast for the Ohio State on the beam. Preparing for her acro series. A beautiful back handspring step out to a layout step out. A small balance check. She did have to kind of regain her balance just a little on the upper half of her torso. But that was a beautiful switch leap. Again, she's just flowing through this routine. You can see the focus in her face, the focus in her eyes. A cat jump, to immediate aerial. Again, she's just such a pleasure to watch in this event.
Picked up her first event title of the year on the beam, January 12th at NC State.
And again, that's an impressive thing to do, especially when you're starting off. Again, she's just volunteering as tribute. Dismounts with a round off back 1.5, small hop on the landing. But that was a great routine, especially to start off of. She was very clean from beginning to finish. That was phenomenal.
So Morgan Lowe, a good start for the Buckeyes on beam. And now Abby Johnston, the freshman for Nebraska, starting off on floor.
And floor exercise is that event where you will see the ladies will bring out their personality, the sass. Again, the floor exercise is where they're going to try and draw in the audience and the judges. That was a beautiful round-up back handspring double pike. You can see her teammate Caitlin dancing in the background. You'll see her later on this event. She, again, is one to watch for the Cornhuskers on the floor exercise.
Caitlin Orrell will compete second for Nebraska. Abby Johnston, 2017 regional floor champion in Florida.
Beautiful round of back 1.5 punch front full. Back half punch front full. You see her teammates in the background cheering her on. Again, so far she is solid. This is the type of starter that you want starting off in your floor lineup. Beautiful extensions in her jumps and leaps. Getting ready for that last pass.
Very performance-centric routine from the freshman.
Round of back handspring, beautiful double tuck. And again, a strong finish for the starter of the Cornhuskers floor lineup.
So neither team's really separated themselves through the first competitor in this third rotation.
And up next we have Jamie Stone. She is so fierce. I mean, just watching her from her freshman year, now seeing her as a captain on this team as a senior, she's phenomenal. I mean, she's just having the type of gymnastics career for the Buckeyes that you want to have.
She's leading the all-around competition right now with an overall 19.7.
Small balance check, but again, beautiful lines on this event.
9.85 on both the vault and the bars for Jamie Stone. Two event titles already this year on the beam for her.
Again, she's moving through this routine with confidence. She's definitely making up for that small wobble that she had earlier in the routine. Here she is getting ready for her dismount. A round off back 2.5. And a step on that landing, but again, that is a hard dismount, especially off the balance beam. That is a skill that you would see a lot of elite gymnasts doing, so that was very impressive.
Meredith Polisivic talking a lot about clean gymnastics, and it's very difficult to pull off clean gymnastics, clean technical gymnastics when you have such a tough dismount.
And this is my favorite gymnast for the Cornhuskers. Caitlin, she is not just a gymnast, but she's a performer. You can see it with her expression throughout this floor routine, the way she looks out into the audience. This is what sets her apart from many other gymnasts competing. Opening up with a beautiful double pike. You can tell she is so happy to be out on the floor. And again, she is coming back from a knee injury. So to know that she's out here performing for the Cornhuskers on the floor, it's huge.
And you talked about her performer side. Heather Brink was talking about how she does choreography on the side. She teaches dance.
She's phenomenal. I mean, this is the type of artistry that not only you want your gymnast to have, but the sport should have in general. It is called artistic gymnastics, and she's showing everyone why it is artistic. Beautiful extensions in her jumps, beautiful extensions in her leaps, just extremely expressive from her face to her fingers. I mean, I must say, as a former child actor, watch.
Is that why you love floor exercise yourself?
You know, it is. That is the exact reason why. But I must say, I can never perform like she does. This is amazing. She's beyond expressive. Back 1.5, punch half to immediate stag jump.
Heather was talking about, in addition to her choreography, she's toyed with cutting music too. What a terrific performance.
Again, she's a terrific person. She is. She truly is. She's a phenomenal gymnast. That was a great routine. That's definitely going to score well for the Cornhuskers.
Scores are in for Ohio State for their first two beam performances. Morgan Lowe, a 9.75. Jamie Stone, 9.675. As Olivia Apley gets ready on beam.
Small balance check. Again, Olivia has beautiful lines on this event as well. Oh, and an unfortunate fall. So hopefully they can throw out this score on the balance beam. So unfortunate, but Olivia, she's a great gymnast. She's phenomenal. You know, she's so consistent. And again, the Buckeyes, they compete every weekend. So unfortunately, they don't get that rest that many other teams have. You know, they compete every weekend. They're working hard in the gym. So I know that these girls may be a little tired. But again, that was a beautiful full twist and gainer off to the side. I know she might be a little disappointed. But again, she has a floor routine that is extremely beautiful. And it's definitely going to be one that I know that she's going to pull through for the team.
We've mentioned the mental toughness you need on beam, and then there's the physical toughness you need when you're, like you said, competing every weekend in the gym most days of the week. It's not an easy thing to do. Here's Adi DeJesus for Nebraska. She does a triple full, more of a unique E-level tumbling pass that you really, Paris, don't see very often at this level.
No, you don't. Again, that is more of an elite skill. But here she is, opening up with a huge triple twist. That was beautiful. That was nice. Again, these girls are having fun out here on the floor. And that's what college gymnastics is all about. It's about having fun, being able to do, you know, what you love. And for these girls, this is the end of their careers. You know, they chose to do college gymnastics than to go professionally in the sport.
9.825, her season and career high for the freshman out of Greenwich, Connecticut. Two scores in, by the way, for Nebraska. Abby Johnston, a career high tying 9.8. Caitlin Orrell, we talked about her artistry, 9.85 for her.
Here she's getting ready for her last pass. Round and back handsome, huge double pike. That was huge. A lot of gymnasts open up with that tumbling pass, but she finishes with it. So that just goes to show how strong she is in those legs. And that was a great routine for the Cornhuskers.
This has been a really strong start for them on floor. That's probably another 9.8 plus.
Definitely, that was a beautiful routine, and I agree, that just might be a 9.8 plus. And here we have Danica for the Buckeyes. Again, Danica, she has been competing so strong. This is her
Abanto.
First season competing in a small balance check.
Meredith talked about she took a fall on beam last week at Maryland, but she handled it really well. That's tough for a young gymnast to do at this level.
Yes, it is. And, you know, Meredith also just talked about the growth that she had. She said that coming in as a freshman, you know, college gymnastics and, you know, balancing that with academics, it was a lot, you know, and as a former student athlete myself, I truly understand how hard it can be. But she said that she has truly grown from the young freshman, and here she is showing that personality with a little bit of a moonwalk on the balance. I mean, you don't see that too often. And a beautiful dismount step on that landing, but again, that was a great routine. No major error. She did have a little wobble on her acro series, but a great routine.
And one thing we've talked about with Danica is how, as Meredith said, she's doing a fraction of the gymnastics she's capable of. Next year, we'll see her doing more. This is Megan Schweihofer, reigning Big Ten all-around champ and floor co-champion from last year.
And that is why she is a floor co-champion. That was a huge opening pass, a round off to a full-in. That was amazing. Most people do that out of a back handspring, but she's just that strong that she can do it out of and a round off, which is huge.
She's doing that in part because of her sore shoulder. That's why she's going round off, full in, no back handspring. And also why she's focusing on the floor and the beam this year as opposed to being an all-arounder like last year.
That was a beautiful second pass. Front layout punch. 1.5. Just skyrocketing in that pass. Again, the people at home might not be able to see, but her teammates are dancing along with her. They are cheering her on. One of the greatest things to see. The girls on the floor dancing and their teammates as their background dancers.
And floor is that interactive event too.
Yes, it is. The girls will be interacting with the audience, the judges, their teammates, everyone watching. A beautiful last pass. And there her team finishing off the strong routine with her. Again, these Cornhuskers, they are putting on some floor routines that are phenomenal and just might put them in the lead after this rotation.
Now, how much fun do you have just watching that? And Nebraska has to be having a lot of fun. They've put together 3 9.8 pluses. Addie DeJesus 9.825. Other scores 9.8, 9.850 from Abby Johnston and Caitlin Orrell. They may be taking over in this third rotation as Jenna Schwartzentruber gets her shot on beam for the Buckeyes.
And Jenna, that was solid. A beautiful back handspring to a layout step out. Again, Jenna is a taller gymnast, so I will say that a lot of her skills make her look just a little bit more taller than what she actually may be, but it makes it look even more beautiful compared to everyone else in the competition. A beautiful switch leap to a jump, to a split jump. Smiling at the judges. She is moving through this routine with confidence. Here she is preparing for a dismount. A gainer, full off to the side to a stuck dismount. That is a routine that these ladies need, especially coming from the wobbles that they had from the earlier competitors in the fall that they just had.
That was a very important routine for Ohio State. Nebraska, in all likelihood, with not all the scores in just yet. Now we've got all 4 scores in for Nebraska. Megan Schweihofer, 9.875, so all 4 above 9.8, and the Buckeyes through the first 4, their highest was 9.75 for Morgan Lowe. So they really needed that performance, and they got it. Sierra Hassel, the junior from Johnston, Iowa, on the floor now for Nebraska.
She opened up with a beautiful front handspring, front double twist. And I watched her a little bit in the warm-up. She is great on this event. She's very clean, and I see why she's in this floor lineup. Getting ready for that second pass. Round off, back 1.5, punch, front tuck. You know, I think she meant to do a front layout, and unfortunately couldn't get the rebound that she needed from that back 1.5, and had to crunch her knees in order to land back on her feet. But she is moving through this routine, and she is picking it back up. Phenomenal leap, phenomenal jumps, great extensions. You know, these Cornhuskers, I have to say, they're performers on this event. They don't just go through the movements, but they perform it and they live it out. You can definitely see it on this event with these ladies. Finishing with her handspring, 1.5 punch, straddle jump. You know, I have to say, the Cornhuskers, they are definitely putting the pressure on the Buckeyes in this rotation.
Well, through the first 4, they had nothing but 9-8s or better. And you would have to think that's another score of at least 9-8. Ohio State did get a big score from Jenna Schwartzentruber at 9-8-2-5, which they really needed. And now Miriam Perez, the freshman, will anchor for the Buckeyes.
And she is phenomenal on this event. She is a great gymnast across the board. Does a beautiful front tuck. Again, she's a freshman, but she is anchoring for this very reason. She is solid on this event. She has beautiful lines. And again, she has some gymnastics that is extremely impressive and that I know that we'll definitely see in the future.
She cracked the beam lineup for the first time last week and won the event title at Maryland.
Now that is the acro series that these ladies needed. That was a beautiful back handspring step out to a layout step out. That was solid, no bobbles, no wobbles. And that leap is extremely difficult. She loses sight when she knocks her head back. So again, she is taking risk with that leap. But again, she is a risk taker, and she is showing us why she did crack that position in this beam lineup. She is by far one of my favorite gymnasts on this team for the Buckeyes. Here she is getting ready for her dismount. A punch front full, small hop on the landing, but that is a routine that the Buckeyes needed to finish this routine out with. They didn't have the beam rotation that I know they were looking for, but that was a routine that they needed going into the floor.
You saw Meredith's response. She loved that as we get a look at Sienna Kraus, one of the top all-arounders in the country, and last year, first-team All-American in this event on the floor.
And wow, that was impressive. A front handspring to a front double twist punch layout. You don't see that too often in college women's gymnastics.
This is a chance for Sienna Kraus to close the loop for Nebraska and give them 5 9/8s or better.
Beautiful second pass, round off back 1.5 to a punch front half. Again, these ladies are putting the pressure on the Lady Bucks with these floor routines.
Sierra Hassel in the 5th spot for Nebraska, 9.575. They'll probably drop that, especially given how well Sienna Kraus is doing in this routine.
Yeah, she's moving through this routine with confidence. Here's her last pass. Front handspring to a back 1.5. Excuse me, front handspring to a 1.5 back layout step out. And again, that was a phenomenal routine.
So Nebraska, I don't know if they didn't just put the pressure on Ohio State with that rotation. They have probably vaulted themselves into the lead and will force the Buckeyes to try to come back and finish this thing off on the floor. Nebraska with an opportunity to close out a win on beam and end a 2-meet losing streak. That was a terrific performance by pretty much their entire floor lineup.
Yeah, again, you know, these girls, they want to compete, they want to win. And I think that you can definitely see that in the way that they are competing.
Sienna Kraus, 9.95. And that is a career high for the first-team All-American on floor. So now on to the exhibitions. This is Sarah Hargrove on the floor for Nebraska.
Opening up with a sky-high double pike. You can see she kind of chuckled to her teammates as she finished that pass. Here she is getting ready for that second pass. A layout to a front full. She held that pass inbound, He's very close to the edge. Beautiful switch ring. You can see her coach cheering her on in the background. She knows that this girl has a lot of potential to not only perform well in competition, but actually be in the floor lineup, which is why she is exhibitioning in this competition.
As we mentioned before, exhibitioning isn't just practice, it's an opportunity for you to get yourself into the lineup.
Yes, again, these girls want to compete. Into exhibition, it gives you that chance, it gives you that hope. Finishing with a huge double back dismount, that was gorgeous. That was an awesome routine. And again, each routine from the Cornhuskers on the floor exercise was phenomenal. They all did their job. And now they can go into the balance beam with a little bit more confidence, knowing that they hit, a great floor rotation.
That was the best event we've seen from either Nebraska or Ohio State so far today through 3 rotations, and it's put Nebraska in the lead, 147.275 for the Cornhuskers, and for Ohio State, you see in the background, 146.675. So what was a narrow lead for Ohio State coming into this 3rd rotation has turned into a relatively substantial lead, at least compared to what we'd seen early on in the afternoon for the Cornhuskers, and it's all a result of having 5 scores of 9-8 or better by Nebraska on floor, topped off by Sienna Kraus, 9-9-5, the best performance we've seen so far today on any event.
There you see Claire dancing in the background. She is a dancer, and you will see that in her floor routine. She's just a freshman, but she competes as if she's an upperclassman because she has just that much confidence in herself and in her ability.
Ohio State's performance on the floor will be vital to their opportunity to come back this afternoon. We'll see if they can do it. The Buckeyes trailing Nebraska going into our final rotation today in Columbus. When we return, it's Ohio State on the floor and Nebraska on the beam. You're watching women's gymnastics on BTN Student U. Ohio State trailing Nebraska as we welcome you back inside St. John Arena in Columbus. The Buckeyes and Cornhuskers going into this last rotation. And as we head into the floor exercise for Ohio State and the beam for Nebraska, Meredith Polisiewicz, the 2nd-year head coach of the Buckeyes, has talked about bringing this give me the ball mentality to her team. She wants her gymnasts to want to step up in these big spots, and now they have an opportunity to do that today.
Yes, and give me the ball, as you said, that just means being aggressive. Being that person to say, I'm going to hit a routine. I'm going to be the one to not only be the leader and making my routine be one that others can build off of, but having that confidence that can hopefully kind of trickle down to the other girls in the lineup.
And this isn't just something they talk about as a team. This is something that they practice. During practice, Meredith will turn to her girls and say, we have this opportunity that we want, let's say, 4 of you to volunteer, step up and nail a series. If you do that, they get some sort of reward. So it isn't just something they talk about, it's something that they practice every single day in the gym.
So I think we're definitely going to see what they practice in the gym in this floor lineup that they have. They do have some great floor routines that I think everyone in this arena would be very excited to watch.
It'll be tough for them to come back down 147-275 to 146-675. Nebraska, one of the best beam lineups in the country. Ohio State, a performance-centric floor lineup. Not going to have a lot of big E-passes, more focused on artistry, leaps and jumps. It'll be interesting to see, too, who Meredith throws out there for the leadoff spot. It's been between Peyton Hinterberger or Brooke Chesney. Hinterberger has been the one Meredith's been grooming for the leadoff spot. Brooke out with a sore back, just coming back. She was in the leadoff spot last year. It looks like it will be Brooke. So Brooke Chesney, the sophomore, will lead things off for Ohio State on the floor routine.
And again, I've watched Brooke in warm-ups, and she is very, very solid on the floor. So I think that the coach made a great decision in putting her in. She's someone who can put down a routine, nail it, and hopefully encourage the other girls to want to take the ball and know their routines.
She was on the bubble with Peyton, so instead it will be Brooke, followed by Mimi Perez, Danica Abanto, Janelle McClellan, Jamie Stone, and Olivia Apley for Ohio State. On beam for Nebraska, this is Michaela Curtis.
Wow, that was a beautiful wolf jump to immediate front tuck. It is very, very difficult to do. Again, you can see the confidence in her face. Small balance check. But I think that the confidence that they had on the floor exercise has now transferred over to the balance beam.
Our first time seeing Michaela Curtis today. Only competed in vault last year, but competing on the beam today.
Here she is getting ready for her dismount. Oh, excuse me. Here's her leap series. Beautiful switch leap to immediate switch leap. Now here she is getting ready for her dismount. A round off, back 1.5 to a stuck dismount. That was a phenomenal routine to start off with. No big errors. Beautiful acro series, beautiful leap series. And then on top of that, to top it all off, a stuck dismount.
So now it'll be up to the Buckeyes. And Brooke Chesney leading off. Trying to bridge this gap a little bit in the floor exercise. Brooke, a sophomore out of Cincinnati, Oak Hills High School product.
I love the dramatics in this routine. Meredith choreographs each and every routine from her gymnast. And I must say that she ensures that not only are they all different, but they demonstrate and display the personality and the sass of each of her gymnasts. Here she is opening up with a beautiful, huge double pike. And I would have to say, watching Brooke on this event just puts a smile on my face. She's such a hard worker in the gym. She's so determined. Second pass, a beautiful ground off back handspring double tuck. Again, I think she's telling her team that she wants the ball. She wants the ball. She's not going to pass it, but she is taking it. Little change of tempo. Now going back to a fast-paced music. And the butt bounce. Probably my favorite part of her routine. Demonstrating just how strong those legs are. Here she is, getting ready for her last pass. You can see her teammates cheering her on. Back 1.5 to a punch front layout. This is a solid routine. And I have to say, the floor exercise, Meredith did say that they struggled with this event because they did lose a lot of people like Alexis Madden, who is a phenomenal gymnast for this team. But, I mean, I think that this just might be the strongest rotation of the whole competition for them.
So now Sarah Hargrove, the freshman, on beam for Nebraska.
And
their head coach talking about how she's upgraded her mount, which you saw a moment ago.
I was just going to say, her mount is absolutely gorgeous. It's so unique and it's so rare. And I think she might be the only gymnast in the country doing that mount, that acro series, spot on, beautiful backhand from step out to a layout step out. She is moving through this balance beam routine with so much confidence and so much poise. Beautiful front aerial to a beat jump.
You mentioned the poise, a sophomore and a freshman on the first two spots for Nebraska. A little bit of a balance check there.
Yeah, she did. A split jump to a sheep jump, and that jump that she had the bobble on, that is very hard. It's not an easy thing to do. When you do that jump, you arch your head back, and unfortunately you lose sight of the beam. So when you're landing, you're literally playing like a guessing game. So again, she's not doing just easy skills here. And I'm glad she's able to chuckle that off. Unfortunately, she clips her feet on the dismount, which is a pike gainer.
She's fortunate that those were her heels that hit and that she's all right.
Yes, I'm glad. Sometimes those falls can be a little ugly. but I'm glad she was able to smile it off.
So that'll probably be the score that Nebraska will throw out. Let's see what Mimi Perez can do on the floor for Ohio State.
Showing that flexibility. She's a phenomenal tumbler. Unfortunately, we didn't get a chance to see her on the vault as she's still training that, but her floor on vault is just spectacular. And I would definitely say that the vault is an event that she is definitely going to be someone that everyone wants to watch out for in the future. But here she is on the floor exercise, a beautiful double pike. Again, here she is just a freshman, but I mean, with this routine, you would have thought she was an upperclassman. She's competing with so much confidence. She hit her balance beam routine. Now she's back on the floor. A beautiful front layout to her front full. Beautiful switch ring to a switch half. Again, this is a great routine. I have to say, I think that the Buckeye ladies, the Lady Bucks, they're going to hit this rotation with the floor exercise. I don't know if they'll be able to catch up to Nebraska, but I will say that it will be very, very close because these ladies, they are putting it down on the floor exercise. Here she is, getting ready for her last pass. A huge rounded back handspring double tuck. I think she might have stepped out of bounds, but that was huge. I mean, everyone watching was in awe and amazement. She just has springs in her feet, and she's tiny. She is tiny, but I mean, she tumbles as if she's just, you know, someone who is 6 feet tall.
She bounces off the mat.
She does, she does.
So
she has exceptional power.
Sienna Krause for Nebraska. We talked before about how important beam will be. One more slip by the Huskers could open the door for Ohio State.
And that was a beautiful connection. A front walkover to immediate back handspring step out. They did just have a fall over on the balance beam, but I will say that she is competing as if the competitor who went right before her hit her set. You can see the confidence and the focus in her eyes. She's not letting this routine go.
Sarah Hargrove, who preceded her, 9.025 her score after that fall. Miriam Perez for Ohio State on the floor, a 9.775.
And a beautiful dismount. Full twisting pike gainer. Excuse me. Yeah, full back full pike gainer. You can see Janelle getting it down in the background. You're going to see her later in the lineup, so it's great to see that she's warming up her dance moves now.
So now it'll be Danica Abanto on the floor for Ohio State.
And again, Danica is someone who can also tumble exceptionally well. Here's a replay of Nebraska's beam. Beautiful dismount.
And so close to the beam, too, on that dismount. A great job to stick by Sienna Krause. Danica Abanto for Ohio State. This one is getting pretty tight. Updated scores, the Buckeyes down, well, Nebraska 175-875, and the Buckeyes 166-275, but Krause in the third spot in the beam lineup for Nebraska, so the Buckeyes have one spot to give.
You know, I'm not sure what exactly is going on, but it looks like there might have been a judging discrepancy. This weight for Danica to go on the floor exercise is part of the weight, but here she is getting ready, set to go.
Here is Danica Abanto. We've talked about all day how Meredith Paulasiewicz thinks she is the future bright spot of this program, competing in the all-around for the second week in a row. Meredith's words, she has more giddy up in her legs and more talent in her pinky than most people can dream of.
And you're going to see that in this opening pass. A round off back handspring, huge double pike. I mean, she is just phenomenal. You know, it just seems like every year this team is gifted with a special all-arounder, and I have to say, I think she's one of them. Beautiful second pass. She just floats that layout out of that back 1.5. She's such a joy to watch. Again, she was out last year with a knee injury, but with the way she's competing tonight on the floor exercise, you cannot tell. Beautiful switch ring, showing great extension, great flexibility. She's just out there having fun. And here she is getting ready for that moonwalk. She just loves that dance move. You saw it on the balance beam.
That's right.
Here it is on the floor exercise.
Maybe a little tougher to do it on the beam.
I think it might be just about easier for her. Here she is finishing with a beautiful double tuck dismount. Gorgeous height. And she looks up as she puts that routine down. She's such a pleasure to watch.
So now Megan Schweihofer on beam for Nebraska. We talked about her being the all-around champion in the Big Ten last year, focusing on the beam and on the floor this year because of a sore shoulder. Season high 9-9. It came real close last week.
Opening up with a back handspring step into a layout is quite difficult. Small balance check. Beautiful switch leap to a switch half. Again, that is not an easy combination to do. It's very, very difficult.
Score just came in, by the way, for Danica Abanto, 9-8-7-5. You might have been able to hear her teammates erupting. It's a good start for Ohio State on the floor. 9-8-2-5, 9-7-7-5, 9-8-7-5.
And a beautiful round-off double twist dismount. That is hard. That is not an easy dismount to do. But she plants her feet, she sticks that dismount. And that dismount is definitely going to make up for that small bobble she had earlier in the routine.
She's one of the stronger performers in the conference on beam. Big Ten Event Specialist of the Week on that apparatus a few weeks ago. That'll bring up Janelle McClellan for Ohio State on floor. Talk about being great at one event. She has 3 event titles on floor this year, including last Friday at Maryland.
And she's phenomenal. I mean, her personality is just such a joy. And you're going to see the end of this routine. But to be able to watch her from her freshman year and just see her grow, now a senior, it's beautiful. It's amazing. You know, she was able to earn a scholarship because of her performance, not only in the classroom, but also on the gymnastics floor. And again, with having 3 event titles on this event, she knows what she needs to do to hit that routine and hopefully keep these Buckeyes in contention of possibly taking a win in this competition. See her teammates in the background with a rhythm clap. And this is probably my favorite part. A little bit of that 70s disco action.
It is retro night. They're not throwing it back that far. What did they say? Party like it's 1989? They've got about 20 years before that.
Here's her last pass. A huge double tuck to a phenomenal landing. And she just knows how to get the audience moving out of their seats. Points to the judges smiles, I smile, everyone smiles. That was a phenomenal routine.
How can you not? That just makes you feel good. Well, so now Taylor Houchin for Nebraska. They've got to be feeling pretty good. Megan Schweihofer, 9.825 on the beam. So if you lop off that Sarah Hargrove 9.025, that's 3 of 9.8 or better.
And that was a beautiful series. Gorgeous lines, solid, no bobbles. A beautiful front walkover.
Heather Brink talked about how she wants Taylor to focus on attacking this event, which is tough for her given that she's so competitive. She's a perfectionist, and this is a near impossible apparatus to be perfect on.
Beautiful switch leap to split jump. Again, with that series, you're really able to see her lines and just how well she's able to execute her gymnastics. Beautiful cat jump to aerial. Here she is getting ready for that dismount. Around a double twist. It looked like she could have stuck that dismount. I'm not quite sure. But I think that just might have been a stuck dismount.
Well, if she did, that pretty well seals it for Nebraska unless they have a slip on beam from their anchor, Sierra Hassel. But on floor, Jamie Stone for Ohio State, having a great day in the all-around.
One of my favorite routines. She's just, I mean, you can see the sass in her face in her choreography. Last year, her Lion King routine was phenomenal, but this year she brings it on a whole nother level. And I think that her coach was able to choreograph a great routine for her. Here she is opening up with a round-off back handspring double pike. That was huge.
3 event titles on floor this year out of her team leading 8.
You know, every time I see Jamie perform on the floor, I just chuckle. I remember watching her in the gym and just having the time of her life every time she performed her floor routine. That was a beautiful second pass, round and back handspring, double twist to immediate punch, front tuck. Nailed that combination. You know, I have to say, Jamie is a completely different person on the floor. Last week she did have a little trouble, but this routine, it's phenomenal. Getting ready for her dismount, changing that tempo of music. Little kiss for the audience. Here she is, a round up back handspring. Back 2.5. Lands it on her feet. You know, fun fact, Jamie's favorite movie is Stick It. And I must say, Jamie, after that routine, Stick It is my favorite movie too.
She's got an opportunity for the all-around title after that. She was trailing Nebraska's Sienna Kraus by 9-7. So you figure she may have sealed the all-around title with that performance. This is Sierra Hassel on the beam for Nebraska.
Small wobble after that Africa series, but you know, I think Nebraska might have clinched the title in this competition.
Taylor
Beautiful
Hatchen, by the way.
straddle jump to sheep jump.
Taylor Hatchen, by the way, a 9-9 on the beam for Nebraska.
Jamie Stone receives a 9.825 on the floor exercise.
So that'll be enough to give her the all-around competition victory this week.
And I'm not sure from this angle, but I think that was a round off back 1.5 to a stuck dismount. The Cornhuskers have definitely put down some amazing routines on the balance beam. Here we have Olivia getting ready to perform on the floor exercise. Fun fact, Olivia actually used to be a rhythmic gymnast before she started artistic gymnastics, and I think that in this routine, you can definitely see a little bit of that.
You get the opportunity to see that a little bit more on the floor than in any other event.
Yes. She's very expressive with her artistry. My favorite part of the routine. It's like a breath of fresh air. A beautiful opening pass. And here she is getting ready to change the tempo of that music, spicing it up. You know, this is the Olivia that we are used to seeing. The gymnast who can hit a routine with confidence and lead these Buckeyes. A beautiful front full to immediate punch front layout. I mean, she is a whole new gymnast on this event than what we've seen on the uneven bars and the balance beam. Here she's getting ready for that last pass. Round back handspring, double pike, steps out of bounds. But again, that is huge. Again, a lot of people open up with that pass. So to know that she can finish with that pass, that's amazing. And I'm not even sure if she was supposed to finish with that. I thought she was going to open with that and finish with the double tuck, but she finishes very strong with the double pike dismount. So that was a great routine for the Buckeyes.
So Olivia Apley finishing up the final rotation for Ohio State. We're going to get a chance to tally the scores as Megan Vercelis-Carr performs the exhibition on the beam for Nebraska.
And again, she comes off the beam. So I think they just might have to add a score with the fall. And again, she falls for a second time. That was a beautiful connection series. That second jump is not easy to do. Here she's getting ready for that dismount. A round up to a back 1.5. Takes small hop on that dismount. I know she might be a little disappointed, but overall the Cornhuskers performed very well today.
They performed well enough to pick up a win after a loss last week against Minnesota. Nebraska, after the final scores have been tallied, with the victory today, 196.4 to 195.85 for Ohio State. As we get a look at our final performer today, Peyton Hinterberger on the exhibition on floor for the Buckeyes.
And again, Peyton usually opens the lineup with the Lady Bucks on the floor exercise, and here she's exhibitioning. Starts off with a beautiful front handspring, front double twist. Getting ready for that second pass. Round up back handspring, nice double pike. Looks to be a little short of that double pike, but she covers it very well. Again, another butt bounce from a Lady Buck. And again, Peyton is a gymnast that I have had the pleasure of watching over the years. And again, she's definitely grown in her gymnastics. She has definitely become someone like Janelle, someone who the team can use, someone who's consistent, someone who can put down a routine for the Lady Bucks when needed. Beautiful last pass.
A chance for her, Paris. We talked about how that exhibition's a chance to force yourself into the lineup, and with that leadoff spot on floor still kind of in flux for Ohio State, that's a chance for her to prove her worth.
Exactly. I know she definitely wants to prove her worth to be in that lineup for the Buckeyes on the floor exercise.
So Ohio State falls to Nebraska 196.4 to 195.750. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll take a look at the event title winners as well as more of our final totals. That's coming up next when we return to Columbus on BTN Student U. Welcome back to a packed St. John Arena in Columbus, Ohio. Terrific crowd for Ohio State and Nebraska as we take a look at the Buckeyes and Huskers getting accolades for their work today. Nebraska victorious 196.4 to 195.750 for Nebraska. That ends a brief two-meet losing streak for them and puts them at 4-3 overall, 3-2 in the Big Ten. And for the Buckeyes, they go to 4-3 overall, also 3-2 in Big Ten action. They've now lost two meets in a row. So Nebraska victorious overall. Your event titles go to, on the vault, Taylor Houchin for Nebraska. She posted a 9.9. Houchin also with the event title with a 9-9 on beam. On bars, Ohio State, Claire Gagliardi had a 9-9 for the event title, and Sienna Kraus for Nebraska, the best score of the day, 9.95 on floor to pick up the floor exercise title. Jamie Stone for the Buckeyes is your all-around champion today with a score of 39.2. Bunker back inside St. John Arena, everybody. Andrew Luftglass alongside Paris McGee. It's been a pleasure to have you with us this afternoon. Thanks for watching our coverage of women's gymnastics on BTN Student U. We'll see you next time from Columbus.